which means allow the Holy Spirit to transform you. And when it's read there in the English there, it says, be that, but no, it's a passive. It means allow yourself to be transformed. By the way, contextually all the way through, you can't transform yourself. You can't. You must have the Holy Spirit in your life transforming you. This is called Christian metamorphosis. 2 Corinthians 3:18. But we all, with unveiled face, behold as in a mirror the glory of God, are being what? What's the word? Transformed. Same word. Are being transformed into the same image. Now there the translators got the passive in there and got it correctly. Being transformed into the same image. And so the question is, are you conformed or transformed? Is conformity working in your life or transformation in your life? Now folks, we can take that conformity even into the area of religion. Did you know that you can even be conformed instead of transformed sitting right in a pew in a church congregation? Did you know that? What's conformity? What's conformity in a church setting? Now, that picture I threw up on the screen. All those people sitting around that guy would like him to do what?
Wake up.
Conform. He needs to show up to church what? Dressed like they're dressed. He needs to conform. In conformity, he needs to think like what? We do. Conformity is a powerful, powerful thing in a religious setting. And I dare say, I'll take it one step farther when I really go to meddling here. Did you know it is possible to be conformed to an Adventist culture without a single spiritual beat in your heart? That is possible. What I say? It is possible to be conformed to an Adventist culture without a single spiritual beat in your heart. That is possible. And that's not transformation, folks. That is conformity with the group. Conformed or transformed? Hey, Paul knew very well about conformity, didn't he? Paul went at great lengths to conform. He would witness and participate in people being stoned because they didn't what? Conform. And so he is an expert on this. Folks, this being transformed by the Spirit, working on your mind and your heart, allows you to do what? Now I've thrown in the NIV translation on verse 2 there, because it's much better than the King James translation. King James and the NASB translation says to prove. Actually, the Greek word means to test and approve what God's will is. In other words, when you're transformed, Paul is saying, let the Holy Spirit transform you so you can test and approve of what God's will is for your life. Where do you find God's will? His will, His choice, His plan for you. Then you will be able to find out what God's will is. Letting the Holy Spirit transform you gives you insight to His plan that God has for you. Oh, but I've always been involved in these plans God has for you. Yeah, that's the trouble. That's why your plans don't work out sometimes. Because you're the one making the plans. Paul says, to know God's will, let the Holy Spirit transform your heart. And Again, it's an action that comes from outside of you. Having known all these things, up through chapter 11, Paul is saying it is essential that you allow transformation to work in your spiritual life. Absolutely essential. Let mercy do its work. And folks, when you realize what Jesus has done for you, I guarantee you there'll be a transformation. And that's a problem with inherited religion. Because inherited religion that we pass on to our children and our grandchildren and so forth, you cannot pass on the Holy Spirit's transformation on the heart just because the Holy Spirit transformed your heart. Our children and our grandchildren have to go through the same transformation that the Holy Spirit works in the heart. And so for us to get excited, and some of you are right in the middle of this, and I'm in the middle of this with my family, and Sue is with her family right now, with our kids. Instead of telling our kids, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, what needs to happen with our kids? What needs to happen in their lives? A transformation. Should that be the focus of our prayer for our children? God, would you, by the power of your Spirit, would you help my child allow you to work in their lives? Transform or conform. The mistake we've made with our kids is to try to conform them. But what we need to do with our children and our friends and our family is pray that the Holy Spirit transforms them.